to be human is to be related. And you can't get any relationship right till you've got your relationship right with beauty, aesthetics, and with nature. Shantiniketan is quite a significant artistic, cultural hub. Dance, music, art, poetry, theatre, all that is buzzing.
Shantiniketan, a university town, a socio-cultural experiment, center of the Bengal Renaissance. This isn't the kind of place you come to with a checklist. You just take it in over leisurely Toto rides and long walks over its signature red earth. Everywhere one looks, the recurring theme appears to be coexistence of architecture with nature and of the traditional with modern sophistication. To make the most of the Shantiniketan experience, one needs a base that inspires and soothes, one that embodies all that the land stands for. And I may just have found one.
As much as it's possible, we have created large windows that you can look into nature. One first connection that we want to establish in Srirangam, that is what inspired Srirangam's design, is that a place where you can connect to nature. So my paternal grandparents, who were originally from Bangladesh, they had bought a place here where his family grew up. So Srirangam sits on a small plot of land, which used to be a larger plot which my grandfather owned. So in 1999, when I was posted in Kolkata, I wanted to buy a plot in Shantiniketan, and I saw that the part of the original plot with the house was available on resale. So I bought it, and Srirangam was created. A lot of people ask me, why Srirangam? It's a famous temple town. It draws the name from there. But it's also kind of, the South Indian name is not very alien in one way. The Shri, basically, it's about nobility, it's about beauty, it's about well-being. So Srirangam, although how much of a South Indian it might sound, it is not totally alien to Shantiniketan. I grew up in Kerala, I grew up in South India, my daughter studied in the South, so we have a deep connection with South. Srirangam is also a place where we celebrate the Pancha Tattvas of earth, water, fire, air and space, ether. That's why these water bodies are very important. We have two of them here. One of this is here and one of them is at the rear. The balconies are lined by hand-carved stone pillars. So this reminds me of the colonnaded temple corridors of South Indian temples. The other South Indian influence that you find in our other floors, based on the handmade cement tiles produced in Athangudi, the Karaikudi village in Chettinad. It reminds us of the grand mansions of Chettinad. You will find that there are these railings by the staircases, which have this paisley pattern, which I designed. So that is the quintessential Kalabhavan aesthetic. I have traveled, my work has taken me to different parts of the world. The influences are very eclectic, but everything is bound together in a harmonious way. So owls have a special place in the Bengali imagination. It's the Vahana, the vehicle of goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth. It's a harbinger of well-being, wealth, prosperity, and everything that is good and beautiful. So this is meet Sukhada or Shukhoda as we call in Bangla. who bestows happiness, well-being. And there's another owl at the rear. It's a wooden, massive owl, and look, that looks quite masculine. So we have named him Shaurya, and he's a guardian owl of Srirangam. So this is Shantiniketan. So obviously you will find a lot of Tagore, and Tagore is a big part of our lives in any case. So in different parts of the house, I've taken 2 or 3 lines from Tagore. These are executed in metal, and these are floating letters. And Tagore himself was very eclectic in his approach. There are a lot of South Indian classical, Carnatic classical music tunes that he used in Rabindranath Sangeet. So this is the main ground floor living room. It's a private space, but for this being a homestay, we welcome all our guests to come and use this space to relax here, interact with us, interact with other guests. So this most important collection here is of this amazing Bangladeshi artist called Abdul Shakur. It's folk in its origin, and these paintings are based on the legends of Gitika. And he uses what Tagore first used, the divided line technique. So there's a gap between 2 colors. This Tagore pioneered the divided line technique. Probably the most important painting is of the Kathakali Krishna, Sri Krishna. This reminds me of my childhood growing up in Kerala. We know it is Krishna because by his mudra, he is holding a flute. There are these peacock feathers, which generally he wears on his crown, but we couldn't show the crown, so in the background. The green makeup, it's called Pachavesham, indicates nobility. And his dress, Krishna is invariably shown in a blue kind of an upper garment and a yellow lower garment. This is a personal kind of painting that resonates deeply with me. Reminds me of our childhood, also reminds me of the Krishna consciousness. I've got some stuff from Southeast Asia as well. That Buddha is from Laos. There's also a blessing hand, which is from Thailand, called the Abhaya Mudra. Plus, I've got some interesting collection of, this is called Gulab Pash or Gulab Dani. This was very popular with Pakistanis who were in Bangladesh prior to 1971. Of course, in the middle is the beautiful miniature sculpture of the Kaaba Sharif. What we have here is a set of amazing posters that celebrate India's craft and textile tradition, and this is by the Skarhat Samiti. So almost every state has a poster on the textile map and the crafts map. It's a fascinating narrative. That one is probably, you know, that it's a Gond painting. You'll see that a tree emerging from the horns of an animal, the animal's feet being stuck. This is deeply symbolic of how everything in nature is connected. So at its surface it's very simplistic, but there's deep philosophy behind it. Ravana and his 10 heads is symbolic of the knowledge that he had, but still at the same time you can see his arrogance. This is a woodcut from Bangladesh. What I really like is the 2 village boys just chatting by a pond and under a bamboo groove. And you find this imagery often in a lot of Tagore's music and poetry. And this is fascinating in the sense, the way it is done is they collect the soot of a lamp and add an extract of the bale tree, wood apple tree, kind of a gum. They make it and then the ink is produced. The color is produced and it's created from there. So it's completely natural. Another thing that I've really been impressed is Islamic art. And this is verses from the Holy Quran. And you also have the hand of Fatima, which is considered a blessing. As a mark of respect towards Islamic culture, I've just put this wall of this calligraphy. So this is the Fud painting from Rajasthan. Fud is a narrative style of painting where a story is narrated and the image is unfolded. So this particular one captures the Sundarkand, that chapter when Sri Hanuman visits Sri Lanka. He describes Sri Lankan society, Sri Lankan people in almost graphic details. You will find that he's also peeping into people's homes because he's capturing information from every possible aspect of life. These are Jaipur pottery lamps, custom made. A very interesting link between Jaipur pottery, blue pottery and Shantiniketan Kala Bhavan. So there was this gentleman artist called Kripal Singh Shekhawat. So he had come to Kala Bhavan to learn fine art, and after he finished his course, he went back to Jaipur and revived Jaipur pottery. Jaipur pottery was then almost extinct, and that's why you will see a lot of influence of Kala Bhavan school of Alpana in the works. This is a painting I picked up in one of these auction houses in Kolkata. It was lying somewhere on the floor, quite dirty, messy. People didn't know what the value is. But this is by one Pramod Bhattacharya. This is quintessential Bengal school of painting. Buddha is shown, and this is a scene where he rescues a lamp from being sacrificed. Unusual painting. To the dreamy eyes, immense depth, immense compassion. And these are simple but exquisite watercolors by Ananya, my wife. So she took up painting pretty late in life and she realized that she could paint. And you can see different layers. They look very simple, but the technique is very, very difficult because watercolor is one of the most difficult media. So we have the large collection of her paintings which we've put in every bedroom. Shantiniketan is a place where there's a lot of music, there's dance. With Tagore's music, but also there's folk dances, baul dance, santhal dance. So that is something that we'll celebrate. And our vision for the future is that this place also will become a hub for different kinds of discussions, gatherings, and cultural events. We had the first edition of the Bengal Biennale. Srirangam was one of the hosts. We also have a mini amphitheater. People can sit along the amphitheater. At the head of the amphitheater is a small stage which almost feels as if it's floating on water, surrounded by 4 hand-carved stone pillars. A small space where we can have cultural performances, poetry reading, book reading, intimate performances, where about 30-35 people can sit. This is an Ananda Nartana Ganapati. It's a very interesting one. He's a baby. If you see the folds of the legs and also the impish eye, you know that this is a baby Ganesha dancing in bliss. You know, there is a composition in Bharatanatyam which says Ananda Nartana Ganapati, Sadananda Nartana Ganapati, Chidananda Nartana Ganapati. First it says blissful Ganapati, which is Ananda. Sadananda Nartana Ganapati means Ganapati who is eternally in bliss. Chidananda Nartana Ganapati means who is blissful from inside. And the dancing Ganesha is important because generally for dance, you need to have a good figure, you need to have a high level of fitness. But Ganesh is kind of podgy and he's got a big belly, but yet he dances. And I think that says a lot about Indian dance and music, which ultimately is meant, more than entertainment, meant to elevate us. Let me take you to a very interesting space, which is our basement gallery, which we have named as the Srinidhi Art Gallery. So right now, what it houses is our private family collection of African crafts, art and masks. So I've lived and worked in quite a few countries in Africa. This one at the corner you see is a shield. It's a very heavy wooden shield, so obviously can't be used in warfare. But then it's a shield which the chief would ceremonially kind of hold and probably move or dance. This one is I find a very interesting aesthetic piece. If you see, it's so elegant. You know, it's got wood and metal and thread as well. But you know, it's absolutely tribal. It's kind of folk art. But if you see the amount of aesthetic refinement you find over here, it's the elegance of the face. Particularly if you see from the profile, the use of metal, I think this is highly, highly evolved art. When my wife says that I overdo things, there are too many things, paintings on the walls, too many things on the... Now, you know, I strongly feel that India is such an exuberant, such a vibrant place that it's a shame to be a minimalist in India. No, I do respect Japanese aesthetic or a Scandinavian aesthetic. My space, I think it would be a shame if I didn't celebrate it. So I tend to be a maximalist. But I do hope that the maximalism that you find in Srirangam is restrained maximalism. We have such amazing artists and crafts. If India becomes minimalistic, what's going to happen to our crafts and arts? from a promotion point of view of our heritage, I think it's important. But personally also, I believe it's a shame not to celebrate all the grand, beautiful, vibrant, colorful things that we have.